Kuznetsova and French Open champion Anastasia Myskina. Who will drive away with the trophy and the #1 ranking? Find out next on the Tennis Channel. We're in Filderstadt, Germany, the semifinals of the 2004 Porsche Grand Prix. Anastasia Myskina, the #3 seed, taking on the American #2 seeded Lindsay Davenport. Sandra DeJenkin in the chair, as this is the second semifinal of the day. Emily Mauresmo has secured a spot in the final already. She will take on the winner of this meeting, Davenport, who has an advantage in the head-to-head. They played last in San Diego earlier this year, where Davenport won easily. And Davenport, who has had such a magnificent run this year, winning 6 titles, including 22-match win streak this summer, which ended at the U.S. Open to Svetlana Kuznetsova. That was really sidelined by injury more than anything else. Anastasia Myskina on the right, the French Open champion, a breakthrough season for her, establishing herself really as one of the best players in the world, the first Russian player to win a Grand Slam title. So 2 of the finest players in the world going at it at one of the most prestigious and important events on the WTA Tour. Here's a look at Myskina, ranked #4, just 23 years old, and she really has made some magnificent strides, Katrina.
Oh, Myskina's had an incredible year, very consistent. She's a big hitting baseliner, moves extremely well around the court for her height, but she's been very consistent, which is important. She's gotten to the #4 ranking in the world, the French Open titleist that no one thought that she could accomplish, especially on the clay courts, and an opportunity to continue to move up. There's a look at her coach, Jens Gerlach, on the right, who's been with her throughout her success this year, and hoping that she can get through today in beating Lindsay Davenport.
Jens Gerlach has faced some interesting moments, some emotional moments, as Myskina is always willing to exchange a few words with her coach in the stands. She really displaces the stress she feels on the court towards her coach. We'll see how she faces not only this moment, but also one of the hottest players in the world, Lindsay Davenport, the American, 28 years old and currently ranked #2. And boy, she is enjoying such a resurgence in her career this year.
Well, she's only lost 7 matches this year, 2 of them being in the semifinals of Wimbledon as well as the U.S. Open. But as you mentioned earlier this summer, she won 4 titles in a row, beating Anastasia Myskina in San Diego.
Well, these early moments in the match so important for Myskina, who has failed to beat Davenport in their 3 previous encounters.
Well, Myskina is a perfect opponent that Lindsay Davenport loves to play. She hits the ball fairly flat, will sit the ball up on occasion, doesn't have a huge serve, and her second serve sits up nicely for Davenport to just rip on her will.
Look for Davenport here to take a swing on this second serve.
You know, sometimes it doesn't matter how accomplished you are as a player and what tournaments you have won, but you still have those opponents that you don't like to play, that you're fearful of, because you don't match up well. And the last time they met, Davenport put a beat down on her.
Out.
Davenport being comical with that call, put a little chuckle behind the overrule.
Wow.
That ball did seem to drop right at the end. Topspin came into play.
Yeah, Sandra Jajenkin facing some pressure here in the early goings.
13-40.
Sometimes that's not a good sign for a player when in the first game you're getting an overrule that didn't seem to be so clear.
Well, she gets it right that time. So Davenport starts the match with a break. And let's take a look at Kat's keys, the things that Myskina has to do in order to win this match.
Well, she needs to keep a cool head, as you mentioned earlier. She wears her frustration on her sleeve. Use the angles, really get Davenport out of position to get her on the run. And she has to get a high first serve percentage, as Davenport will step up and rip the second serves. For Davenport, she needs to break down the forehand of Myskina, stay focused, and attack the short balls when possible.
Yeah, something she did well to break Myskina in that opening game. I just feel like Myskina can't afford to just trade shots back and forth. She has to try and create something, really try and knock the American off balance. And that time she did it well.
No icing. Long 30.
Davenport, born in Palos Verdes, California, now residing down in Laguna Beach. Oh, yes. Well, that's an example of how well Myskina moves around the tennis court and how creative she is with her shot making.
Long 40.
Well, those are some great shots from Myskina, and this is a court where she can afford to go for her shots. It is a fast court. The ball will move through very quickly, and because she does hit fairly flat, she'll get a lot of pace on these shots that will get Davenport in trouble.
Well, nice recovery here by Myskina, the first time she's been in the lead today.
Well done. Davenport taking advantage of that short ball, moving forward and finishing off at the net.
Leaf Shiras beside me, Katrina Adams, bringing you this second semifinal from Filderstad.
Oh, that's a beauty.
15-30.
Yes. So Davenport continues to apply the pressure to Myskina's serve, and she's put herself in a position to get the break advantage again. So a double fault from the French Open champion, and Davenport reestablishes a break advantage, 2-1. The final of the 2004 Porsche Grand Prix tomorrow, Sunday, 7 a.m. Eastern Time. The winner of Davenport and Myskina will take on Amelie Mauresmo. Mauresmo, the #1 player in the world. She awaits the winner. So here's Lindsay Davenport serving at 2-1.
No offensive. Love 13.
Well, Davenport has yet to win a point on her serve. There she is on the board with that first delivery.
15.
That was a big hitting from Davenport. Got the shot that she wanted, but didn't quite position herself for that swing volley as she was coming down the middle of the court. Never really got rotated in order to make that shot.
I say 5. 30.
A lot of power on that serve. You can see Myskina was well beyond the baseline and still couldn't control that return.
I say 13. 14.
So the unforced error off the forehand. Myskina doing well, staying in these rallies.
Deuce.
Missed opportunity for Myskina. Davenport not as successful in her opening service games of this match as she's used to being.
Outside teleport.
You can see how devastating her first serve can be. So there's a distinct height advantage here. Just over 6 feet 2 inches tall. So Davenport finally consolidates the break advantage, and the important part of this year is how it can affect this 2004 Porsche race to the championships. Lindsay Davenport atop the list. Of course, this measures the final 8 players who will qualify for the year-end championships. See Myskina in 4th spot. Davenport, Mauresmo, and Kuznetsova have secured a spot in the final 8.
70s. No offensive. Love 15.
Well, the importance of the race to the championships is not only in ranking points but also prize money. $3 million tournament, total purse of the tournament.
No classic.
A lot of the players' bonuses are tied into making the championships.
what a return. She really timed that two-hander perfectly. Well, too much pressure from Davenport. And Myskina has yet to hold serve today, and the American moves ahead 4-1. Taking advantage of these soft second serves. You can see teeing off with depth and power. Well, this is the second semifinal of the day here from Filderstadt. This was the first semifinal between Amalie Mauresmo, the world #1, and Svetlana Kuznetsova. And Mauresmo really played some fine tennis. Kuznetsova had her down, but Mauresmo rallied and ended up closing it out. A straight set win. She is into the finals here in Filderstadt for the first time. And Mauresmo really has the ability to play with variety, and on this fast hard court, it really affords her a chance to win matches like this and play well on this surface.
Oh yes, because she does have a big serve. She can serve and volley. She has a variety off of her backhand of the underspin as well as the heavy topspin. And she moves extremely well. And to play either one of these ladies in the finals, she's going to have to do just that, because they both hit big balls off the baseline, very fast, moving through the court. Myskina's coach Jens Gerlach looking on in concern right now, as this player has yet to hold serve against such a consistent returner server as Lindsay Davenport.
Well, Lindsay Davenport has had such a dominant season. She's won 6 titles, but it's also a year about what might have been. She was beating Maria Sharapova in the semifinals at Wimbledon, won the first set, had chances to close out the match. And at the U.S. Open, she was beating Svetlana Kuznetsova convincingly before a groin injury sidelined her. So she really could have had an even bigger and better year than she is already having, had she not had some bad luck.
Another big serve from Davenport. On that previous point, you saw Myskina hitting a backhand winner down the line, and that is her favorite shot, where she likes to set up her points to position herself to finish with that backhand down the line. With points like that from Davenport, she's going to be hard-pressed to create opportunities for her to have those shots where she can nail them down the line. Davenport very aggressive and just a huge swing volley. Don't try that at home.
Yeah, this was a ground stroke that she hit in the air.
It truly was.
So Davenport finishing with an ace. And she is looking good here, 5-1 in the opening set. Davenport, having played just 15 events in 2004, but already compiling 57 match victories. Some impressive numbers.
Oh, yes. Myskina showing some variety in her game, coming to the net and showing some delicate touch to go along with her power. Davenport catching that return a little late, but I like how Myskina opened the game, trying to do something different. What she's been doing hasn't worked thus far, so she's got to be creative. Getting first serves in has helped.
Yeah, that's an important first step. And you can see what happens on the second serve. She's just unable to get into the point on even terms. Davenport just dismisses that second ball. Well, 28 players in this event at the start of the week. Just two former champions, Mary Pierce and Lindsay Davenport. Pierce losing in the second round to Elena Lukotseva. Davenport looking to win her second title should she win this weekend. She won back in 2001.
Myskina.
So Myskina a little confused on the score. She had already won that game. Davenport 5-2. So the number 2 seed, Lindsay Davenport, looking to have shaken off the effects of that groin injury that sidelined her at the U.S. Open in that semifinal. She just wasn't able to compete on the same level as when she started off the match. She won the first set against Kuznetsova 6-1 before losing 6-2 and 6-4. And she looked like she was going to win that U.S. Open title until the groin injury really started bothering her.
Well, she was in the best form of all players at that time, as her summer results showed that. And it was just unfortunate that the injury came at the time that it did. That's just too good. That's how she's been playing all summer long. And this indoor hard court is a perfect surface for Lindsay Davenport. It's nice and fast. Ball stays low. But she actually sustained the injury in the warming up for the match earlier in the morning. And as the match progressed, it actually got tough on her, tightened up on her. Big return. Kind of caught it a little early. I don't think she really intended to hit such an acute angle, but it was a good shot. You can see how deep in the court Myskina is standing, especially on the serve. Davenport hitting some great depth on these first serves. She's trying to give herself a lot of time to return the ball, but hasn't been that effective since the first service game of Davenport.
Davenport wins the first set with an ace. It took her just 22 minutes. Stadt, Germany, the second semifinal so far. It's all Lindsay Davenport, winning easily 6-2 in the opening set against the French Open champion, Anastasia Myskina. Lindsay Davenport looking to get into her 9th final in 2004. She's already won 6 titles this year and leads the WTA Tour in titles won. Of course, her 44 career titles puts her in 9th place in the WTA record books, behind Monica Seles, who has won 53 titles. Of course, atop the list, Martina Navratilova, 167 titles. And that's the kind of record you just don't think will be broken. 100. Can someone actually win 168 singles titles? I don't think so.
Well, I don't think anyone is going to have the length of the career that she's had to attain all those titles. It's a sad looking camp right there. Not pleased with the results of Myskina thus far. Davenport teeing off on that return, just finding the top of the net. But it was definitely there for the taking.
Spin, Myskina.
Well, that is a better start for Myskina.
First game, second set.
Wins the opening game. And there's Adam Peterson in the middle of your picture with the white shirt.
Karina Morariu, WTA Tour player, on the left of that screen. He's played a lot of doubles with Davenport. He's won a couple Grand Slam titles together.
So Davenport, not many problems with Myskina this summer.
From Myskina, Davenport trying to change it up, do something different, but that drop shot became a drop lob too deep in the court and set up nicely. Myskina could have gone either way with that shot.
So you don't recommend the drop shot lob? It's
not the drop lob, no.
No.
Third set ball. 15. High secret.
An incredible shot from Davenport, so deep in the court, lacing that forehand down the line, and Myskina did pretty well just to get a racket on there.
Luke Courteau, Amelie Mauresmo's coach, doing a little scouting, seeing what awaits his pupil in the final.
High secret. 31.
Tough position to be in the court, trying to create that angle that Davenport just attempted without having some excessive topspin on the ball for some clearance over the net.
Well, Myskina trying to find a winning pattern, and that time an incisive shot up the line to get to break point.
Point from both players. Myskina really using her wills to cover some ground here. Got to several shots that I didn't think she had a chance of getting the ball back in play. And almost gave Davenport problems with this one. Davenport did a great job of controlling that ball back into the court.
Ball time, Davenport.
Well, just unable there to sustain the rally, Myskina. The backhand letting her down. And Jens Gerlach knowing how quickly opportunities can pass.
Madison, deuce.
Myskina winning that point with her movement and her determination just to tough that one out.
Deuce.
Now Myskina is aware that she needs to maintain an exact length in the rally. Just overplaying that forehand a touch.
Myskina would like to have that forehand back. You see her preparation just didn't get away from the ball enough to pull it down the line. Kind of raised up with it going over the highest part of the net.
So a point for Davenport to get to 1 game all.
Deuce.
The error is starting to creep off the racket of Lindsay Davenport from the middle of the court. Not being pressured in the last few points from Myskina.
So Davenport just a little bit untidy with her game at the very end. Here's a look at the tennis schedule coming up on the Tennis Channel. The Kremlin Cup from Moscow, semifinals and finals, the Swisscom final. And let's not forget the events in Linz, Austria, and also the WTA Championships in Los Angeles from the Staples Center. We'll have coverage of that as well. Stay tuned to the Tennis Channel and for the best tennis going on around the world. And this event really one of the best events on the women's tour. 5 of the top 6 players entered. We had the 4 top seeds in the semifinals. Just the 5th time that has happened this year in 52 events. And the last time that happened, if you've been following the Tennis Channel, was from Beijing when we had the top 4 seeds: Serena Williams, Svetlana Kuznetsova, Maria Sharapova, and Vera Zvonareva.
The top players have really been playing well this year, week in and week out, challenging each other for that top spot in the rankings.
Well, so Davenport struggling with her game here in the opening moments of the second set, and Myskina has taken full advantage. She has rebounded nicely. She has a 3-love lead. Davenport won the opening set, but facing a love 3 deficit here in the second set, as Myskina has put enough pressure on to break down Davenport. Leif Shiras alongside Katrina Adams, the second semifinal from Filderstadt, Germany. The winner of this match will take on Amelie Mauresmo in the final. And we'll have that for you on the Tennis Channel as well. We'll have that final for you, 7 a.m. Eastern Time.
Once again, you can see how far beyond the baseline Myskina is to return the first serve of Davenport.
Well, she went after that second serve, didn't she? Well, that point really displayed how Myskina, if she puts the ball short in the middle of the court, she doesn't have much of a chance. Davenport just eats up those balls.
The errors are really creeping into Davenport's game in the second set.
So Davenport is on the board here in the second set.
Well, it's some great movement from Myskina, but Davenport a little bit too much with the power and control on her shots there. Myskina needing to get first serves in to try to maintain a break.
Whoops. She had some open court to play that forehand into, but well over the baseline.
Bergson Byron, 51.
So Davenport struggling to find the range that she enjoyed in the opening set.
set Burton 40-15.
Myskina making her third appearance here in Filderstadt. She had never gotten past the second round until this year.
Burton Glasgow.
Myskina took out her countrywoman Elena Lukhotseva in the quarterfinals. No, it's over the baseline, so Davenport earned the advantage in the rally but couldn't finish. And it's Myskina who profits from Davenport's mistakes. She's up 4-1. Twice a champion here in Filderstadt, now involved with the tournament committee in organizing and presenting this event. She won the titles back in '91 and '94.
15.
Great shot from Myskina. Davenport didn't do enough with that approach shot. Myskina able to dip it down past her.
High secret zone. 30-15.
So Davenport looking to stay within reach. Down the single break of serve here in the second set. Davenport was the only American on the initial entry list. Lisa Raymond came through in the qualifying as a lucky loser. Raymond reaching the quarterfinals before losing to Amelie Mauresmo. So it's Davenport flying the flag for the United States here as that two-hander gets her to game points.
14-13.
Not surprisingly, the country with the most players, Russia. 7 Russians in the main draw.
Davenport.
So Davenport hangs on. So Myskina up 4-2 in the second set. Myskina, born and still resides in Moscow, Russia. So you look at Adam Peterson, Lindsay Davenport's coach, practice partner. Myskina in many ways reminds me of someone like a Martina Hingis. Not blessed with great power, but able to find winning patterns of play and has enough guile and racket control to really move the ball around and cause people problems.
Well, she moves extremely well around the court. We've seen her run down several big shots from Davenport. She doesn't have a lot of spin on her shots, but she does control it by taking a lot of balls on the rise whenever possible. That's a big return from Davenport. That was right in her wheelhouse. Didn't have to do much but turn and strike. And another big return from Davenport.
And Myskina is saying, well, you know, is that a strategy, hitting winners off my serve? Well, here's another look at a second serve for Davenport. No. A double fault. And here's a chance for Davenport to get back on even terms.
And Myskina has to be careful here because she will get frustrated and lose her focus if she loses his serve. Because she knows she would have lost this game on poor serving percentage.
No. Well, I may have jinxed her. She just could not find the winning play that got her the break advantage. So she renders her serve, and Davenport back even. Deja Myskina surrendering her serve. So Davenport looking to equalize on her own serve at 3-4.
It's
good playing from Davenport. Big first serve, short ball, followed it up to the net. Myskina perhaps missed a huge opportunity by not holding serve, where Davenport has shown in this set that the errors have started to tally up off of her racket, but Myskina didn't do enough to give her opportunity to miss the balls, put the balls right on her racket. With second serves in that last game.
Well, that was a good second serve deep in the box.
Davenport smelling the opportunity with that last break, getting her first serves in, being aggressive.
So Davenport, 8 straight points, and she is back on even terms at 4 games all.
Well, Davenport's a former #1 player, so she knows what it takes to get back into matches and knows when the opportunities are there for the grabbing. She's been very successful this year. She's only lost 7 matches in the entire year.
I think it's safe to say that when she's healthy, she's been nearly unbeatable. Well, that forehand got away from her. She had some room down that line.
That's a good backhand down the line from Myskina. It's her favorite shot. Was able to get some good rotation to redirect that ball. Huge backhand from Lindsay Davenport. Myskina really needs to work on her serve. I'd like to see her use more body rotation and knee bend to get some explosion and acceleration to generate some power on her serve. She kind of guides that ball over the net.
Yeah, you can see she sort of just uses her arm, doesn't she?
High set by 30.
She's just curling that serve in right to Davenport's forehand, and Lindsay is just taking a full swing.
Too good.
High set gets it.
An incredible backhand with great length and pace
30.
from the racket of Davenport.
was an important point for Myskina. Gets her back to deuce. And this time she had Davenport scrambling. We've seen Myskina's compatriot Elena Dementieva struggle with her serve. Now Myskina, similar problems, a double fault.
Davenport.
So the backhand is wide, and Davenport now with a chance to serve for the match. And the #2 ranked player in the world, Lindsay Davenport, with a chance to close out this semifinal on her serve. She's won 4 straight games and really has a head of steam going into this final game. Can she close out the French Open champion, Anastasia Myskina? Davenport, 28 years old, looking to get into her 3rd final here in Filderstadt.
15.
Finalist back in '98. She won the title in 2001.
Myskina trying to attack on the short ball. Actually caught that ball late. Unable to do anything with it. That's huge. Actually the first time I've seen her hit that serve today, which is her bread and butter serve.
14.
Davenport with the winner, and she wins the match 6-2 and 6-4. And she had it going, and Myskina just not able to muster enough of a challenge, as Davenport just too strong on this indoor hardcourt.
Davenport played well today, but I don't think she played her best. She did show some signs of maybe a lack of focus. A lot of unforced errors started to creep in, but she served well when she needed to. She had some huge returns when they were right on her racket, able to move Myskina around. Myskina ran down a lot of balls today, but just didn't have any weapons to really frustrate Davenport.
Yeah, it really was a lack of firepower, and I think Myskina, in order to really challenge Davenport, she has to be at her absolute best. And you can see Davenport will square off against the world #1, Amelie Mauresmo, in the final. So Myskina certainly disappointed, but she was able to muster enough of a challenge to do her best against Davenport. That's her best result, 6-2, 6-4. So Lindsay Davenport just too good today, winning 2 sets easily. And she is into the finals here in Filderstadt, Germany. Lindsay Davenport into the finals here, the 2004 Porsche Grand Prix in Filderstadt, Germany. She recovered from a 4-1 deficit in that second set and won it really going away, as Myskina just unable to build on the advantage she earned in the early going of that second set.
That's true. Myskina was only up 1 break, though, and she basically gave that game to Davenport by not getting any first serves in. Davenport ripped a lot of winners there, got back on serve, and then just took control of the match from that moment on.
Well, certainly the achievements continue to roll up for Lindsay Davenport here in 2004. She's into her 9th final of 2004. You talk about a mouth-watering matchup. Amelie Mauresmo, world #1, taking on Lindsay Davenport, world #2, in the final from Filderstadt, Germany. We'll have it for you on the Tennis Channel Boy, do not miss that one. Davenport playing some of her best tennis, and Mauresmo really riding a wave of wonderful confidence atop the women's rankings. So a comprehensive win for Davenport, 2-4. She's into the finals. For all of it at the Tennis Channel, and for Katrina Adams, I'm Lee Shiras. See you next time. Two finely tuned machines. Amélie Mauresmo is the #1 ranked player in the world and is also the first ever French player, man or woman, to hold the #1 ranking. Lindsay Davenport holds the #1 spot in the Porsche Race to the Champions and is also the #2 ranked player in the world. She has won 6 titles this season, including 3 in a row in California. Who will win the race and drive home with the trophy? Find out next on the Tennis Channel. Tennis Sports Hall in Filderstadt, Germany. The 2 top players in the world squaring off in the finals of the Porsche Grand Prix. Amélie Mauresmo of France, Lindsay Davenport of the United States. Well, an air of real anticipation here at the Tennis Sport Hall. I'm Lee Shiras alongside Katrina Adams as we, along with this crowd in Germany, await the arrival of the 2 top-ranked players in the world who will square off for this prestigious indoor title. And at stake, important ranking points as both these players jockeying for position atop the women's game. And Katrina, this is always an exciting moment when the 2 top players in the world square off, and what a place to have at Filderstadt, a 27-year-old tournament that's been around for a long time, very prestigious, and really kicks off this indoor season.
Oh yes, and it's the players' favorite event of the year outside of Grand Slams. It's a tournament that's very hospitable to players, and to have the #1 and 2 ranked players competing against one another, what a treat for the fans.
Yeah, the excitement is palpable here, and in fact, consecutive years now at this event where they have had a finals showcasing the top 2 players. Last year, Kim Clijsters and Justine Henin-Ardenne squared off in the finals. This year, it's Mauresmo and Davenport, as Henin-Ardenne and Clijsters have slipped down the list, but you can see plenty at stake in this event. Davenport trying to close the gap. Mauresmo will stay atop the rankings no matter what happens today. But Davenport trying to position herself to perhaps pass Mauresmo later on this year. A couple indoor events coming up. And here are the Porsche race rankings. Davenport atop that list. 6 tournament titles and really a fine year for the American. Svetlana Kuznetsova in at #3. You can see the Russians, 4 of them atop the top 10. Venus Williams rounding out the bottom at #10. So an interesting season of tennis as Serena and Venus really not making the impression, but certainly Davenport, Mauresmo, Kuznetsova, the Russians have jumped into the gap.
Well, all these ladies have had an unbelievable year of tennis with some great results. Davenport topped the Porsche race rankings, but Mauresmo, the #1 ranked player in the world, first woman from France, and she's got a lot of pressure on her. She's never been #1 before, and she's done well this week with her performance being in that position.
Mauresmo and Davenport have yet to lose a set in their run through to the finals. Mauresmo, a nice win over Lisa Raymond, who came in as a lucky loser. Raymond, a good run here in these indoor hard courts. Anastasia Myskina, the #3 seed, ran out of gas against Lindsay Davenport. Mauresmo comfortable in her run through to the final.
Well, it's a good court for her, even though it's a fast surface and she's used to having better results on the clay court, but she's got a nice serve. She's got that beautiful backhand that she loves to step in and rip, and she can slice it, and it's a good surface for her to really be an aggressive player, and that's the type of game that she's been working on.
Here's a look at the 2004